On this episode, we had a really good time. Hey everybody, this is Garyvee, Nerdchuck, and this is episode 221 of the Ask Garyvee Show. Our first guest in our new deluxe office, and I'm super excited about it. We didn't even talk about the white on white, which I'm very excited about.
I thought
but
you're
showing some good stuff here.
I just came from a 26-day trip by myself. I'm allowed to show my chest hair, which is tanned.
You went 26 days by yourself?
26 days.
That's where this came from?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
I went to Corfu, Greece, and I went to Italy, and I went from Pisa to Florence to Siena, Montepulciano, Chianti, Perugia, Rome, Positano, Sorrento, Positano, Amalficos, Capri, then Sicilia, Santorini, New York.
You drank a lot of wine?
Yes.
Good.
And I met lots of beautiful women.
Very nice.
Yes, I met a lot of great people.
Nice.
Yes.
You had a great time. What a great show. See you guys later. All right. I know a lot of the audience is going to know who you are. Why don't you address that, like where you came from? But I also know it seems like maybe this 26-day trip has a little bit to do with the transition. I think you're expanding, and so I'd love for you to spend a few minutes to create context for everybody. Thanks, Tyler.
This is a very interesting time of my life because just recently, well, in the beginning of the year, there was a part of me that was everything that I do, I have to be obsessed about,
all in.
No, I think that you can be good at many things. You can only be passionate. You can only be great at the things you're passionate about.
Yep.
And I've been doing real estate for about 10 years now. I'm part of the show $1 Million Listing, who just finished his last, season 5, and
you've been on since season 2.
Season 2, yes.
So you did 4 seasons of the show.
4 seasons together. But at the beginning of this year, there was something about me that was, I consider myself to be a very happy guy. And when the year started, there was a part of me that was very, very sad. And normally you're in a situation and you can identify why you're sad. You lose something, you miss something, your girlfriend leaves you, you're sad. At this particular moment, I did not know what I was sad about. And I think I've been sad for quite some time, but I was very good at convincing myself that things could be worked out. But at this point, it just seems to be the one time that I just couldn't convince myself, and I spent 8 days under my sheets without waking up, and that to me was very strange. The fact that I couldn't point out exactly what the reason why was. And one day, I remember this was at the beginning of the year, I came to, I was shooting the next day to on $1 Million Listing, where you sit down in the interview chair and you explain everything that's going on in the scene. And I called a friend of mine and I said, listen, I don't want to shoot. I'm very, very sad, and the fact that I don't understand why am I sad about it makes me even sadder. And I just don't understand because I want to fix it. And at some point I started crying, but like I've never cried in my life. And when I had nothing left, I sort of saw something, and I said, when you're hungry, your stomach growls. So you feed it and then it stops. I think the mind works like that in some sort of capacity, where it's instead of growls or roars, it becomes sad. But we don't know we can feed it. So there's something that was missing, and I was trying to understand what that was. At that point, when I've already sort of lost all, and I was about to open a door that I already knew what was behind it, but I didn't want it to open. And for once, I realized what was making me sad, but I never could have pointed out at that specific thing because it was something that was considered, perception-wise, by the rest of the world to be the only thing that I could not be sad about, which was my job.
Right.
Because it was the biggest year, my biggest year in my 10-year career. I was in a show that people would kill to be a part of. That aired internationally.
Giving you unbelievable brand exposure to get deals.
Yes.
Yep.
But the problem
you were finished. And when I say finished, I'll tell you why I said it. It happened to me in the wine business. When I built, at the time, the biggest wine shop in America, I didn't care anymore. It happened to me in sports. I do not like the Yankees and the Rangers anymore. I look at Madison Square Garden, and I'm not excited to see the Rangers play because in 1994, they won a championship, and I felt, that's it. There's nothing.
What was your part in sports?
So the Rangers play as a fan.
Okay.
They won the championship, and that's it. They can't win anymore. Like they can win more championships, but it's not a higher level. And so the 2 teams of the 4 teams I grew up loving, the Yankees and the Rangers that won championships, I stopped caring. But the Jets and the Knicks, it's just the thrill of the hunt.
Yes.
It's just the climb. And and I don't know if this is what happened to you, but this is more for the audience. For me, whether it's the market saying so or I'm saying for myself, when I feel like I've got to the mountaintop, I need to go somewhere else. It's not like, I don't know, but it doesn't have to be that you sold the most volume of homes, dollar amount in the world. It's just for you, you've hit the highest point.
And I was doing.
Is that true?
Yes. I mean, I just feel that the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing today is very different from the reasons I started doing this when I started. When I started, I was passionate about it because for the first time I was able to do something that everybody told me I was not able to do without the conventional ways of upbringing and education and everything in between. And I became very good at it because I was passionate about it. But there was a point that the dynamic and everything just was the same. I mean, the clients were bigger, the numbers were bigger.
But it was the same game.
But it was exactly the same. So my mind was no longer stimulated, and I felt like I was just.
Have you figured it out what you want to do next?
I have no idea, but I'm excited.
The 26 days was maybe to try to find out? Just to enjoy?
It was a way to explore myself. That's what I went by myself.
And?
Well, I learned a lot of things. First of all, it's very interesting that you have a gut feeling, and most people are, when I discovered this, when I was on the phone with my friend that night, and I discovered that what I was doing was not what made me happy. It made me feel relief, but it made me feel scared because now that I realized that this is not what I like to do. And knowing myself, I know that I'm not going to spend a day doing something that I don't like because one thing you can never take back is time. I knew that I had to leave it, but I was scared. But if it ain't scary, I think we're doing something wrong.
Of course.
And at that moment, I said, you know what, fuck it. The next day I went to the interview chair and I talked to the producer and I put all the cards on the table just to put myself in a situation where it was already out
Suffocated
there.
out.
So that there was no way I could turn back and turn around. And going out in Italy, I realized that we must do this all the time. We will always be in a situation, I think, that we will cap out and we start from scratch again with everything that we've learned.
You're either moving forward or backwards.
100%.
It's binary. Just is.
What I discovered is, and Gary, you and I don't know each other that well, but being self-aware, I think, is something very powerful. And I've realized that people, when they see the show, I was not the one that sold the most. But people would stop me on the street. They'll never say, oh, that was a nice price per square foot you sold last week. No one, ever. From Australia to Sweden to the United States, everybody that watched in the scope that we have of viewers, everybody always said the same thing. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You inspire the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I want to go on a date and I'm afraid. I rewind your episodes and I just watch you do your thing because it's not what you do, it's the way you do it. So I realized I have the ability to connect with people and to inspire people, especially the fact that I'm young. And I can inspire older generations and newer generations. I think there is something much bigger than just brokering transactions. Because the reality is I never and will never aim for money. Money will just happens to come with. And that's what I realized. And I said I want to do, Did
you save some money so you can go on this journey?
I spend it all in Italy. No.
I was like, look, you've sold some homes, you bought some real property.
Yes.
So you've got a little of a nest egg to give you time to figure it out. I don't know if you know this is a Q&A show, so we're gonna let India ask the first question.
What a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Listen, I told her earlier today that she might find her husband today. All right, India. Go ahead.
First one from Push-Pull Sales.
Push-Pull Sales.
Push-Pull Sales asks, how do you balance professionalism and personality, especially since you were both so high energy?
How do I balance
professionalism and personality?
I don't.
That was what I was gonna say. Yes.
I thought you were going to. I don't know. That's actually a funny moment. We need to look at that clip. I thought that's what you were gonna say, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this in quicker. That's basically what just happened.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's the real answer.
It's a blend. The whole thing. It's I don't think something is professional. I mean, there's a way to describe or categorize the word professionalism, but I think it's something you do in your life, and whether you are.
Plus, the market gets to decide. Who decided that cursing was not professional? Like who?
Somebody? Yes,
like
exactly.
The church 5,000 years ago? I don't know, and that's fine.
A shirt is not professional.
100%.
Full floor. How many square feet is this?
I have no idea.
15,000, 10,000.
I think we're crazy. How many square feet is this office? I think we have 50,000, 1.5. So this is 32. And now I think that's right. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, amazing. It's a great office. So I don't.
I definitely
I'm glad
don't.
that you don't.
I'm the least. As a matter of fact, my biggest thing is I want to make sure I don't become a caricature of myself. Like one thing that I'm proud of, if you ask me over the last 2 or 3 years, is I'm not doing shtick for shtick. Like I'm in my zone, but like my belief is it should go completely outer space. Plus, the best part is I love underestimating. Like I love being underestimated and then delivering.
Yes.
Like the climb. That's all it is for me, is the climb. Everything's the climb. And so for me, I think I probably even forced it subconsciously early on that I wasn't gonna dress the part. I'm also,
You are just you.
I'm just not even comfortable, yeah.
You're just
So
you.
I think professionalism gets to be, I for one do not judge somebody as being professional or not professional depending on how they dress or how they talk or I just care if we can win. You know? I just wanna win and I don't care what they look like. I even let Patriot fans on my team.
I'm sorry, can I'm gonna go Snapchat on this.
Yeah, no worries.
Obsessed with Snapchat, I don't know why.
Because it's the greatest,
It's the most
and it's super
amazing
important.
invention ever made. When I first downloaded, there's nothing like too much Snapchat, so
Yeah,
go crazy.
and
Yeah.
my crew knows what to do.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Because
Face
when
swaps.
I first downloaded it, I thought I didn't understand it. I thought,
Most people
where is
didn't.
this going
Yeah.
from? But then when you understand and you see the ability of telling stories.
That's unbelievable.
And then you can't live without it. I got like 30 minutes of content every single day. When I went to Italy,
Really?
I took everybody on everything. Good, bad, drunkenness, and when I
great.
got drunk, I get very philosophical. In the morning.
Let me tell you where it's going. India?
From David.
David.
David asks, how do you overcome objections based on perceived lack of experience, looking young, and people doubting your ability?
We both had this too. Go ahead, you go first on this one.
I think that you can't argue with something genuine. And I think if you care and you're serious about whatever it is that you're doing and you're really passionate about it, no one can argue against that. And when you're young, you can be 3 years old and you can actually look like a 3-year-old boy. But when you speak from the heart, there is no age to that. And I think people will respect that because nobody can argue against something that is real.
Let me go in an interesting direction. Dying to hear what you think on this. I think it just doesn't matter, and let me explain. I actually think that a lot of people didn't take my wine advice when I was 24 and looked 7. I think, a lot of people, even 10 years ago, didn't take my business advice because I didn't look the part or this and that. I actually think this is a question, India, audience, Luis, everybody, that is actually a post game. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is, it's just, you're gonna hear, I'm a broken record. It's results. When you come with passion, and both of us come with passion, if we lose, we were full of shit. If we win, we were passionate. So what I'm fascinated by with entrepreneurship and the game is it actually doesn't matter in the beginning. Somebody's gonna give you a shot. Like if you knock on 1,000 doors, there's people that say yes. I say yes all the time to things that make no sense. D-Rock, I do it all. It's true. I do it all the time. Winners do that. It's really funny. Winners are the one that put winners on.
Yeah.
But winners also deal with a lot of losing players. But winners and optimists are always gonna give you that shot. Right? One episode I definitely saw in the background working with Lizzie. I mean, I know TV's a lot more staged, but I'm sure it's a replication or maybe real. I don't know how you guys rolled. You go to that Nets game, that dude's a big dude. Like winners give you, Stephen Ross, one of the biggest developers in the world, is my business partner. Winners give people at bats. And so I would answer this question of saying, look, 90 out of 100 people are gonna say no. The game is proving those 90 wrong later. I got an email the other day from a former client that makes me want to fly. I hate to think that I'm built on I told you so, but I'm built on I told you so. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. It's a great feeling. And I just think that that's how people should be driven. Recognize that there's nothing you and I are gonna say that's gonna change somebody who wants to say no to that person because they look young and don't have experience. It's not about who says no, it's about who says yes, and then you have to deliver.
Yes.
And then when you deliver, everybody looks back and says, of course, you had passion. There's a million people running around that had passion, but then they ended up becoming losers or scam artists because they didn't deliver.
And I'll tell you something, I think being young is one of the best assets someone can have now. Because when you have that passion and when you have that conviction about it, whatever it is that you believe in, that you're pitching or selling or whatever it is that you're doing, the fact that you look young, it actually there's a beauty to it, and I think not now, like you're saying, it's changing.
Well, it's a good era for young too,
Yes.
with Zuckerberg and the social networks and Snapchat. Evan Spiegel. Look, I mean, young has never been more professionally accepted. Anybody who complains about being young now doesn't realize that I'm 40. My generation, young meant for the first 10 years of your business career, you ate shit.
You even have to do a video about old people feeling. I remember
the reverse.
It's
That's right.
The reverse.
Thank you very much. All
All
right, let's go. Video.
Video from Clayton.
Hey Luis, let's talk leads. What is the best way you have found to get leads besides referrals? I know referrals are great, they're an essential part of every business, but what's the single best way you found to get leads?
So early in your career, before anybody knew.
I actually still do it.
Which is?
Calling, man. I love cold calling, man. I swear to
We
God.
are pretty similar, bro.
Yeah.
I believe.
I love.
There is no leads. You have to go take them.
100%.
Go take them.
And the sound of an authentic voice over the phone will never change. And there.
And by the way, digitally too. How are we sitting here? You emailed me, said I want to be on.
And
okay.
he responded like in 2 seconds.
I'm fast.
So that was pretty impressive. And I think cold calling. Everybody is the same bullshit. With women, what is the script? There's a book called The Game. What the fuck kind of game is that? and then there's a script for. I understand, but the person that you're pitching today will have a different mood tomorrow, will have a different way of seeing things tomorrow. So you'll never know what day are you going to catch that person. As long as you're yourself and you are very convicted about exactly what it is that you're saying or whatever it is that you're getting their attention, you will get their attention on a bad day, on a good day, while they're having sex or getting a blowjob under the table. It's still...
I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited for the comments. I mean, look, I think what you're referring to that's very, very important is that, and this is why I talk in boxing references, I think it's
love this guy.
I think it's counterpunching.
100%.
Like,
100%.
well, you love me because we're both salespeople. And what salespeople know is you get another at bat, and you have to react.
Not because we're salespeople. Like if we're actually outside the office and we're having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
We're not.
Why can't we have a glass? Wait a minute. You just censored yourself from a glass of wine. Yet you said blowjob 3 seconds ago. I thought that was super interesting.
No, I'm just saying.
But did you hear it?
So yes.
I drink wine.
So tequila.
Okay. Oh, great. I'll drink tequila. Okay. Interesting.
So if we're doing that, we're not. I mean, I like you because forget about the sales.
Well, listen.
Like,
I'm extremely likable.
Yes.
Do you know about this?
Yes, I can see that.
This is a big deal.
I can see that.
Let's go. India, I'm extremely likable.
India, tell him.
But admit it, I'm stunningly likable.
This is the amount of clips of me praising you. Or just like,
I want more.
I need a supercut.
All right, let's go.
Nice Tat Co asks, what's your major key?
What's my major key?
Yeah, like DJ Khaled.
I got the reference.
Yes. I think my major key is, only doing the things that make you happy. I think you can only, I think when you're happy, you're creative. When you're creative, you produce. When you produce, you see results. When you see results, you do it all over again. Most people think that they're not creative or they don't have the ability to create. That is not true. I think everybody has the ability to be great, and they may just not know it yet. But I think that when they are in a position when they're happy, and like authentically happy, they can build things that they never thought they could. So I think that would be my key.
My major key you brought up earlier, which is why a lot of my team smiled. I think self-awareness is the key.
Self-awareness.
Because I think it's similar to, it's funny, you also said something that I push against a little bit, which is being great is an interesting definition. Depends on how one defines it. I believe that anybody can be the best version of themselves if they can find the thing that they were naturally meant to do that's the best in them, right? And I do think that, I think self-awareness is just...
And that comes with getting to know yourself. Spending time to understand yourself, I think, allows you to be more convicted about certain things. And
it's funny, for me, I almost feel like I'm meditating in parallel with my speed.
Okay.
I
like that actually.
I feel like I'm doing it in parallel.
I do. I love that.
You like that?
I think I do it too, and I never realized it.
Yeah, what I haven't done and I'd like to do is a 26-day trip to think about it, but to me, I do it in parallel. Yes. I'm in motion and reflective at all times.
Yes, I love that. Is there a term? You came up with a term for that?
I think it's Vaynerism.
Parallel meditating?
I don't know. There probably is. I'm such an F student.
It's okay.
People are just laughing right now. They're like, no, you mean Bajuga?
No,
yeah, of course.
I actually like that.
That's what I do. That is literally what I do. I'm basically auditing in real time. It's a matrix as I'm moving fast as shit.
But you're always meditating for the rest of your life. It's
For the rest of
amazing.
my life, it's why I'm so happy.
Yes, and that's
That's why
that's why you evolve so fast.
I'm
and
pulling
grow.
I'm pulling in opposite directions.
And everything is an epiphany, or you're always looking for one, and everything is just everything. I love it. I love it. I love.
You have
this
one more
man.
question, right?
One more,
Yeah, let's do it.
Last one from Chris.
Chris asks, how many jobs have you had before being super successful, and how has it helped you now?
My first job was a janitor.
When were you born?
In 1996, November 13th. Oh. Get the fuck out of here! Stop.
November 14th.
What?
Yeah, I was married on. I was married on November 13th. Yep. Interesting. November 13th, 1996. I was in. You were born 86? Oh, thank God.
86. No.
Thank God. I feel way better. 86. I was like 90. It looks so good. I was like 86. Good. That was right before AJ was born. So I was getting super pumped for my birthday and the last one without my little bro.
That's insane.
It's awesome. So what were we talking about again? I got so excited about
job,
first job. So you were but where were you born?
In Puerto Rico.
Right. And how old were you when you came here?
16.
Great. So you come here at 16.
At Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Florida. And I worked as a janitor at night in a community college, and I work at Hollister during the day. They never even put me on the floor. Right. I was in the stockroom putting sensors on the shirts.
Nice.
But you know,
And then what?
And then I became. I worked at a film school, working on the rental departments, putting all the getting all the gear out, and putting it back in, and organizing and putting it all together. And then you've done that. Yeah.
Yes, Stefan.
I'll tell you something. It's a job never defined me. I thought I understood what I was doing it, and I always try to make it. You know, when I was cleaning bathrooms,
You made it fun.
Yes, I was caught dancing with my broom at 7:00 at night, and people would tell me, "You're the happiest janitor I've ever seen." But you know, it actually allowed me to do something, and you know, I knew.
What did you do right before real estate?
Film directing, but that was not a job.
Oh wait! I also saw this clip. I mean it. Lizzie watches this all the time, so it's in the background. You had some crazy success. You had weird hair.
Yes.
And you had you had a successful thing happen.
Yeah, it was until I did a film that to me it was not a disaster. It was a disaster because I wasn't able to understand storytelling too well. So the picture looks amazing, great cinematography, but there was no
soul.
I couldn't tell the story well.
Right.
So you could see people having a conversation, but there was no soul behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I was too young to do it. I was 19, and I got very frustrated. That's how I started in the. That's a much longer story, but
we need to figure out that story. That's it?
That's all the questions.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
So the guest always gets to ask the community a question. So you'll get hundreds, if not thousands, of replies on Facebook and YouTube to your question from them. Now, based on what I sense here, we have a lot of similar vibes. So this audience is very much in this ecosystem. So you can ask them anything. You can ask them to predict the score of tonight's Yankees game. You can ask them the meaning of life. You can use this for market research if you really are curious about something, or just whatever you thought about in those 26 days.
I actually would like to know how many people, and I would really like to know how many people are doing or working on something that they already know doesn't make them happy, but they convince themselves they should stay for the sake of safetyness.
Most.
So I'd like to know, and please be honest, I'd like to really know, and it's
yeah, we'll send you the links, you'll read them, you'll get in there. This was fun.
It was amazing.
Thanks for being on the show.
November 14th.
I love that.
Scorpio!
What time were you born? Did you almost make it to the 4th? PM?
AM.
Oh no, that's the beginning of the day. Okay, so we're good, and I was 3:30 AM, so yeah. All right.
Look at that.
You keep asking questions,
Yep.
we'll keep answering them.